Hello, ladies and gentlemen. It is your host with the biggest nose, JC Courtside, coming at y'all today on Friday, April 17th. Ladies and gentlemen, the playoffs begin tomorrow, Saturday, April 18th. The final day of the play-in is tonight. We have the Magic, we have the Hornets, we have the Suns, we have the Warriors. If you guys missed our breakdown yesterday and my predictions for those games, we talked about it in yesterday's episode, so be sure to go check that out in case you missed it, and then come right back to this one. Because in this one, you've been waiting for a long time now. I wanted to at least get one of the play-ins set so that before we break down all of the series in a row. So now that we have at least the 2-7 spots locked in, I think now is a good time to discuss my predictions for the playoff series, the first round series. Here we go. I don't know why I just said here we go, but that's what we're going to be doing. Okay. We do have one piece of news that I would like to share before we get into the playoffs. But that's what we're going to do in today's episode. Playoffs begin tomorrow and then game Sunday. And then obviously we'll be back Monday. And I think we're going to start doing episodes next weekend while we have playoff games on Friday. And I hope you guys strap in. I hope you guys lock in for real, because we are not going to have a night without NBA basketball until the until the conference finals to the finals break. We are going to be locked and loaded with unlimited NBA content. And I hope you guys are excited as I am, because man, I was watching old playoff clips from last season, seasons prior, and the aura with playoffs, man, there's just nothing like it. There's nothing like it. I love basketball so much. And I need you guys to remember that. All right. If your team missed the playoffs, if your team got eliminated in the play-in, as long as you guys have a draft pick next summer, Pelicans, I'm talking to y'all, I'm sorry, you should just enjoy playoffs basketball and try to forget about your team for a second. If Joe Dumars runs your organization, that's like the worst possible case scenario here. At least you don't have Troy Weaver and Joe Dumars running your organization. Am I right or am I right? Oh, wait. One franchise does. Ladies and gentlemen, let's get into today's podcast. Before we talk about the playoff brackets and the playoff matchups, let's go ahead and talk about the breaking news that came out from last night. And that was Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham both had their appeals accepted for the 65-game rule award. The NBA and NBPA have ruled in favor of Lakers Luka Doncic and Pistons Cade Cunningham on their extraordinary circumstances challenge for the 65-game award rule, making both eligible for all 2025-2026 season honors such as MVP and all NBA teams. This was huge. I popped off. I audibly popped off. I was taking a dump when this was happening, and I popped off the toilet, genuinely. Now, Anthony Edwards also appealed, and he was denied. Now, people are trying to argue that because he's dark-skinned, he was rejected on Twitter. That's just not it. Anthony Edwards did have an injury. It was an infection, okay? He had tummy issues, and he ended up sitting out more games than he truly had to. The difference between Luka Doncic and Cade Cunningham and Anthony Edwards was 4 games short, I believe. I think he played 61 games. He was 4 games short, and he was sitting out extra games. He was fine, but he was sitting out extra games. Now, as far as Luka Doncic goes, he had to go for the birth of his child, which I don't think anybody blames him. It was the birth of his child. Nobody's blaming him. It's not like Luka Doncic was resting whatsoever. The Lakers need him. So he had to go for the birth of his child, and he missed. And on top of that, something that I feel like most people are forgetting, ladies and gentlemen, do you guys remember Luka Doncic got suspended for a game? Do you guys remember that? For exceeding the amount of technical fouls in the regular season? Listen, I think people forgot about that, including Adam Silver and everybody else. He missed a game because he got too many technical fouls. So they didn't mention that in the report, but I'm reminding y'all, he did miss a game due to his actions on the court. As far as Cade Cunningham goes, I love this, obviously. Obviously, if you guys haven't seen behind me, I love this. You can't go from a 14-win team to a 44-win team to a 60-win team. You can't be the first team ever to win less than 20 games and then 2 seasons later win 60 games. You cannot be that. And then 20, 30 years down the line, when we're looking at all-time greats and we're looking at eras, we're going to be looking at Cade Cunningham and saying, same with Luka Doncic, and we're going to be saying, damn, you know, I don't know who, but Chris Paul has won more All-NBA over Luka and Cade, so I'm taking Chris Paul, right? You can't have that impact such legacies that haven't even been built yet. So I don't blame the NBA for doing this. And here's another thing for Cade Cunningham that makes his reasoning even more acceptable. Ladies and gentlemen, people forget that Cade came back. Cade came back. And I believe that had something to do with him getting accepted. If Cade sat out, he would have only had 61 games. You guys remember, he got hurt against the Wizards. He missed all those games, but he came back for the final 3 games and didn't rest in between those 3 games. He came back, played those 3 games, and got accepted. And he was 1 game short of the 65-game rule exemption. So Luka, it makes sense. He's a Laker. Lakers bring money. It'd be bad business to not include Laker on an all-NBA list. And now Cade got accepted because, of course, he came back. He led the team. He led a revolution. This is completely unheard of to go from 14 wins 2 seasons ago to 60. So he deserves it. Now, people are debating and going back and forth that now that Cade and Luka are back, Jaylen Brown's going to be the odd man out in first team All-NBA. I think we can all agree it's Shea, Wemby, Jokic. I don't think anybody argues. I don't think anybody denies that. I think we all agree that those are the top 3. And in the last 2 spots, it's either Luka, Cade, or Jaylen Brown. You got to cut one of those guys out. And I think the majority of us are going to cut Jaylen Brown out. I hate it because Jaylen Brown deserves it. But I believe Luka and Cade have had better individual seasons. And plus, I can't, for the life of me, I can't think of Jaylen Brown off of this. That's what sucks. That's what really sucks. It's tough. It's really tough. And now I love this question because people have been talking about it. I think Worldwide Wob posted it. Solo asked in the Twitch stream, do you think this could affect Duren not making it at all? That would help the Pistons books. And while I think I agree with you, in my opinion, I think Duren is an all NBA third team. I genuinely think so. And I'm going to remind you guys something that I think most of you guys forgot, but I think that the guys who have votes will remember. Guys, Cade Cunningham missed all those games at the end of the season. Jalen Duren literally put the team on his back, his big, girthy, brolic back, and kept winning. When Cade was out, Duren went from 19 points per game and 10 rebounds to averaging 27 points and 13 rebounds. 27 points and 13 rebounds when everybody said the Detroit Pistons do not have a second option. And then Duren came out while Cade was out and said, no, we do have a second option. I'm averaging 21 and 12. So Duren deserves it. In my opinion, he should get all NBA third team. I wouldn't be mad if he missed it because then our books will be cheaper. If Duren does get all NBA third team, his contract extension eligibility would go up to $288 million. And if you ask me, if you gave Jalen Duren $288 million, chalk this entire rebuild up. We're not doing anything for forever. That's our 2 guys. We can't afford anything else. I think Duren will sign a $200 million deal. I think a $200 million deal will probably work. And yeah, I think he deserves it. I think he deserves it. He proved it, that I think genuinely, which is crazy because when I ranked my top 10 centers going into the season, Duren was an honorable mention. He wasn't even in the top 10 for me. And now I think we can all agree of the centers in the NBA, of the healthy centers this season in the NBA, will you guys be mad at me if I say Duren is a top 3 center in the NBA? Will you guys get upset with me? Jokic, Wemby, Duren. Would you guys be upset with me this season from what we saw, health-wise, impact-wise? Jalen Duren's a top 3 center in the NBA, and I don't think that's absurd to say. I think I'll take Duren over Rudy Gobert. He has way more of an offensive impact. Defensively, he still lacks, and people think that he's better at defense than he is. I'm not saying he's going to be a top 3 center for the next 10 years, but what I'm saying is he's 22 years old. He's 22 years old. And if you say Cats over Duren, I won't be furious with you, but I will be kind of upset. I will be kind of upset because both Cat and Duren, they don't play, neither one of them play great defense. But Duren has expanded his game. No, we're not talking about Embiid. We're not talking about Embiid. Embiid does not get involved. We're not talking about Embiid. And Chet has basically moved to a 4 at this point. But yeah, I don't think that's that crazy to say. Policy, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very, 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 very much. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. If you guys have Cat over Duren, that's purely opinionated. I think it can go either way. If you ask me if I'm building a team around, I think that's a better question. Ladies and gentlemen, if you were building a team right now, are you taking Karl-Anthony Towns or are you taking Jalen Duren? I think that's the better question to ask, because right now you guys are split on, is it Duren or Cat? If you were building a team, who are you taking, Jalen Duren or Karl-Anthony Towns? Because then my answer is pretty clear and cut. It's Jalen Duren. He's 22 years old. He has shown a tremendous, I was not expecting this. I'm a Pistons fan. I was not expecting this leap. I wasn't. His defense is still not where I want it to be. But I think you could throw Jalen Duren with any great point guard right now in the NBA, and their teams will all get better. Unless they have Wemby, of course, or Jokic. But if you put Duren on the Lakers, championship contender. If you put Duren on what teams are lacking centers that have good point guards? Philadelphia 76ers? Like, are you kidding me? If you put Duren with Maxey, that's what I'm saying. I'm glad you guys all have these about the same answers. What about Zach Edey or Klingon? Not there yet. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now that we got that out of the way, it's time to talk about the playoffs. You guys ready? Let's talk about the playoffs. Ladies and gentlemen, in today's episode, we are going to be breaking down all first round series. And we're going to start out in the West, all right? The first matchup we are going to break down is the San Antonio Spurs and the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, ladies and gentlemen, how do I say this politely? I got the Spurs winning. I'll tell you in how many games at the end of this. This isn't a hot take. I think overall, ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to be doing with all of these series is we are going to be going over what each team does prolifically, what each team lacks at, which team needs their X factor, and who their X factor is to perform at their best possible state. Okay. So we're going to start with the Portland Trail Blazers. Now, the Portland Trail Blazers have been playing incredibly well. In their last 10 games, they are 7-3. They're finally getting healthy, which they haven't been all season long. And I got to be honest, everybody, if y'all have been watching me for a minute, I'm a big Blazers fan. I'm a big, major Blazers fan. I love the Blazers. I've been rooting for the Portland Trail Blazers. They've been my team out west since Rudy Fernandez, Brandon Roy, Wesley Matthews. That was my team. LaMarcus Aldridge, Greg Oden. That was my team back in the day. And I'm still going to be rooting for them. I believe Deni Avdija is going to be put in prison this series. Deni Avdija is a very, very good player when it comes to driving into the lane. But do you know who owns the paint in this NBA? Guys, I'm sorry. I watched Cade Cunningham, who's one of the best drivers in the NBA, try to drive against Victor Wembanyama. I watched it twice in 1 week. And I can't. There's no way on God's green earth I could say the Portland Trail Blazers have a chance against this team. I think the Blazers are going to try to make it fun for a couple games, but the Spurs are favored by 10.5 points. I said Cade is one of the best. I did not say he's the best driving. And Deni Avdija is right up there. He's amazing at drawing fouls. He's amazing at driving to the hoop. But with Victor Wembanyama there's going to be a lot of jump shots being forced. And with the Trailblazers, I'm sure you guys know they are one of the worst three-point percentage teams in the NBA, but they attempt the top 3 most threes in the NBA. They attempt top 3 most threes, but they have the lowest percentage, the 3rd lowest percentage. So with the Portland Trailblazers, you obviously need a lot from Avdia, but I genuinely believe that their X factor, and this might sound insane to a lot of you guys, I think their X factor is Jeremy Grant. I know that sounds insane. I know it does, but you can look at how this season has progressed. I could say Shaedon Sharpe. I could say Toumani Camara. I could say any one of these players. I could say the Time Lord. I could say Clingan. I could say Drew Holiday. I think those are all the easy answers. But I think I got to go with Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant not only can swing this series, but he's been prolific from the three-point line, which a lot of people don't know. He's shooting 39% from 3 this season. 39% and 45% for the field. He's averaging 18.5 points. I think that's a great point. Sharpe is going to try to catch Wemby at least once. I'm going to be very, and Jeremy Grant does not shy from the ball. He hit huge threes, clutch shots, and they're the reason why, he's one of the big reasons why they moved on and beat the Suns. So all in all, I think the Blazers will try to make it a competitive series, but on the other side, we got to talk about the Spurs. The Spurs, we know their weaknesses. They're middle of the pack at three-point shots, middle of the pack at attempts, middle of the pack of percentages. But the thing is, what separates them is how many guys they have. Okay, if De'Aaron Fox is playing poorly, which he could, they still have what sorry, their names. I'm trying to remember off the dome. Sorry. Stephon Castle and Dylan Harper. I always confuse the two. And then Devin Vassell. So when you look at this team and what Castle can do defensively against Avdia, I think that's going to be the difference maker. That's going to be a major difference maker. And the issue is I don't think Clingan is going to be able to do much against Victor Wembanyama or Luke Kornet. Clingan can try to stretch the floor, but his shot has sort of abandoned him over the last month and a half. Vassell's three-point shot has sort of abandoned him as well. I think what's going to matter most in this series is it's going to come down to the Spurs dominating on the glass, dominating down low. Because the Blazers are going to be jacking up 3 after 3 after 3 after 3. And that's why I think the Blazers can steal a game and maybe even 2. Maybe even 2. The main reason is, I hate to say this, but Wemby might not even have to play crazy amount of minutes this series. He might not. And I think that's going to be the biggest kryptonite when it comes to the San Antonio Spurs right now. They don't have the experience. They don't have the playoff experience. And Victor Wembanyama has, well, how many minutes has he been averaging this season? He's been averaging 29 minutes. So all in all, I think what's going to be their biggest detriment is how long can Wemby go? And in the first round series, I don't think that's going to be an issue for them. I don't think they're going to need to use Wemby all that much in the first round. And I don't think that's insane to say. I think you guys can agree with me. I don't think they're going to need Wemby when I think Luke Kornet will do pretty much what they need, half of what Wemby to do for the majority of the series. Now, I don't think I'm underestimating the Blazers whatsoever. I just think this is a bad matchup because the Blazers are not a good three-point shooting team, and they're up against a team that doesn't need to shoot well. They don't need to. Because when in doubt, Dylan Harper's going to get to the hole. When in doubt, De'Aaron Fox is going to find Victor Wembanyama. When in doubt, you're going to have Julian Champagnie and Devin Vassell wide open in the corner, and that's what they're going to be relying on. I think we can all agree to that. Everybody collapses on Wemby, and that leaves the three-point shooters open. Dylan Harper is going to be awesome, and I'm excited to see how he can perform in his first playoff series as a rookie. I'm really excited for that. But yeah, I just think the Spurs are too big, too athletic, too strong. And I got the Spurs in 5 games. If Clingan can hit his shots, if Deni Avdia can try to still get down low, I don't know how that's going to be possible. I think they could take 2 games. But overall, ladies and gentlemen, I think the Spurs just have too much. I think the Spurs X factor, and I don't think this is insane to say, I think their X factor is Keldon Johnson. I think the biggest weakness is that the fact that they have such a better bench than the Portland Trailblazers. So I think Keldon Johnson is going to be a great spark plug. I think I got Spurs in 5 games. And hopefully De'Aaron Fox can get in a rhythm. He's going to be the guy that needs to dictate these games at the end of these games. Yeah, Wemby has not been clutch, but De'Aaron Fox also hasn't been. So we'll see, man. We'll see. He was the clutch player of the year 5 years ago, and that's what all the commentators make sure to remind you. Guys, over under how many times this playoff series, throughout this playoff season, are the commentators going to say, well, De'Aaron Fox is going to get the ball because he's a clutch player of the year? They cling onto that award like it was given to him yesterday. It was 5 years ago, all right? They say it every single game. I'm sorry. The only clutch shot he's hit all season was in the All-Star game. I think he hit one clutch shot, actually. So, yeah, I think I got Spurs in 5. I'm hoping for a close and competitive series, but I got Spurs in 5. And, you know, for the guy that continues to spam the same comment over and over again, you are one of the reasons why I do not read my TikTok chat versus my Twitch chat. He keeps asking me, what do you think about Deni Avdija? What do you think about Deni Avdija? He's a good basketball player. Is that what you want me to say? What do you want me to say? You want me to say some crazy political take? Is that what you want me to say? Is that what you want me to say that? Right? TikTok, if you guys are enjoying the stream, get away from Ori Elad. I'm not going to swear. Get away from that guy and come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio. I'd love to see you guys come through. I'd love for you guys to come through. Straw Hat Sora, come through to the Twitch. Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Get out of the TikTok. All right, guys, let's move on to our next series in the West. We got the Timberwolves and Nuggets. Guys, this is our third time we're seeing this matchup in 4 years. Now, I have a real important question for you guys, okay? Real important question. Would you guys... Okay, let me set the stage real quick because I need your guys' help here, okay? Lock in. These two teams have played each other 3 out of the last 4 years in the playoffs. Right? Obviously, we know how all the outcomes went. My question to you is, they've never played in the conference finals. So would you consider this a rivalry? Would you consider this a rivalry? I'm genuinely curious. I want it to be a rivalry, but do you consider this a rivalry? Because I'll be honest with everyone watching and listening, I don't really consider this a rivalry, because a rivalry is when you have to keep going through this team. You have to keep going through this team, and it's like do or die. You know what I mean? I think a rivalry would be what Philly and Boston had maybe a few years ago. Maybe the Heat in Boston during the LeBron KG era. The Cavs versus Warriors meeting up in the finals. I don't think it's that much of a rivalry. And let me explain more, okay? Hey, guys, who guards Anthony Edwards on the Nuggets? It's not Nikola Jokic, right? It's not Nikola Jokic. Who's the best player on both teams? Anthony Edwards, the best player on the Wolves. Nikola Jokic is the best player on the Nuggets, right? Do they guard each other? No. They don't guard each other. You're right. Philly never beat Boston, so that can't be a rivalry. You're absolutely right. You're right. They don't guard each other. Does Jamal Murray guard Anthony Edwards? No. No, he doesn't. So the best players aren't being defended by the other best players. And in my opinion, that just inflates my idea more that this cannot be a rivalry. It can't. When Jaden McDaniels is guarding Jamal Murray and Rudy Gobert is guarding Jokic, which he can't, do you consider that it's not a personal rivalry? Yeah, sorry, Christian Brown, right? Yeah, Christian Brown will probably be on Ant, exactly, if Peyton Watson isn't back. But that's what I'm sort of saying. I feel like rivalries are built against, like, position-wise as well. You know what I mean? I feel like when it was Ben Wallace versus Shaq, that's a rivalry. When it was Kevin Garnett versus, who was another, like, predominant power forward back in the day in the East, I guess in the West, like Amari Stoudemire or Tim Duncan, right? Kevin Garnett had those guys against each other. At least they're guarding each other. In this, I don't really feel like it's a rivalry, but I digress. The Nuggets are favored in game 1 by 5.5 points. Now, the Nuggets are still missing Peyton Watson, and we don't know. Of course, Dirk Nowitzki, of course. They're still missing Peyton Watson. Anthony Edwards, listen, guys, I got to be honest. The Timberwolves are 5-5 in the last 10 games, and I believe they are... What are they in their last 19 games? I think they're like, I don't remember what they are, but I think they're like something along the lines of 9-10. Point is, the Timberwolves have not been a good team as of late. They haven't been a good team at all. And that's sort of scary because when you're up against the Nuggets right now, I think we can all agree, though, the Nuggets are on fire. They've won 12 in a row against a lot of contenders as well. Jokic is playing incredible. Jamal Murray is playing incredible. And, well, I'm sorry to say, but the Timberwolves have not been playing incredible. Julius Randle has sort of lost focus without Anthony Edwards being on the court with them. And it's very different from last year. Now, I'd like to remind y'all last year, the Timberwolves were 17-4 going into the playoffs. They were 17-4 going into the playoffs. That is nowhere near what they are right now. And I think we all agree that momentum means a lot going into the playoffs. And of course, they have been hurt. I fully agree. But their lack of bench depth is what kills them for me. It kills them. You have Ant, who hasn't been healthy. You have Julius Randle. You have Jaden McDaniels. You have Rudy Gobert, Dante DiVincenzo. Thank God for Ayo, because if not for Ayo, I might have Nuggets in 5. Naz Reid, who has not been good. Have you guys been watching Naz Reid? Over his last 30 games, he's shooting 28% from 3. That's not an exaggeration. His last 20 games, he's shooting 28% from 3. He just got paid $150 million? That's not good. Kyle Anderson, he's moving in slow-mo. Mike Conley, Bones Highland, he's so hit or miss. And when you got to rely on Bones Highland and Ayo Dosunmu that heavily, it's sort of scary because when you look on the other side and you have the Nuggets, look at the bench that they have right now. Peyton Watson, when he comes back. Tim Hardaway Jr., who's arguably, no, it's not even arguably. Tim Hardaway Jr. has had his best season of his career. Bruce Brown, who's been okay, right? He hasn't been Bruce Brown of past. Spencer Jones, who's been such a great find. Jalen Pickett was good. Julian Strawther's been incredible. Jonas Valanciunas probably isn't going to play a whole lot, but he will be there to rest Jokic. He'll be there to beat some people. You know what I mean? The Timberwolves just don't have enough this year. They don't. And I think the Timberwolves are getting eliminated in the first round this year. I really do. I really do believe it. The X factor for the Timberwolves, I think it's none other than Jaden McDaniels. I think Jaden McDaniels is going to have to dominate more offensively than just be that defensive guy. I think I could easily pick Ayo Dosunmu being their X factor, but it's got to be Jaden McDaniels, man. I don't know if you guys just saw the statistic, but the Timberwolves win 97% of their games when Jaden McDaniels scores 20 plus points. 97% of the games. And by the way, that includes the games that Anthony Edwards is out. So if Jaden McDaniels can score 20 points in a game and produce on the defensive end, and you still have Anthony Edwards there, you have a chance. And you're going to see Bones Highland either prove why he should be on an NBA team again, or show the world that Clippers playoff series way back in the day, I mean, everybody was right on him. It's going to be difficult. Nickeil Alexander-Walker will be severely missed for them because at that point they were just replacing Jaden McDaniels with Nickeil Alexander-Walker. It's going to be insane. Yeah, so here's another important thing that I got to point out that Quick in my Twitch chat is reminding me. This is why you guys should come through to the Twitch stream, Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. That's where I read all my comments. Quick reminded me that if the Nuggets win this series, it will be the first time ever a bottom 20 defense has ever won a playoff series. I've been talking about that all season long in regards to the Los Angeles Lakers. But yeah, you're absolutely right. The Denver Nuggets do not have a good defense. They don't. Their interior defense is one of the worst in the NBA, but they are good on the perimeter with Peyton Watson when he's back and Christian Brown and even Aaron Gordon. Ladies and gentlemen, Aaron Gordon on the perimeter defensively, he's incredible. And I think you will see the Nuggets defense turn up in the playoffs. I think you will see that. The issue is like the Lakers didn't have anybody to like turn up. Now, ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, I'm probably going to be generous here and say the Denver Nuggets in 6. I'll probably say that. I'll say Denver Nuggets in 6. And I think that's a very important question that Justin just asked in my Twitch stream. Is it time for a rebuild for the Timberwolves? And I don't agree with that. I think that's too harsh. I think Finch gets fired this summer if they lose in the first round. I think. Yeah, absolutely. Two-handed kicks. I fully agree. I think Finch gets fired 100%. If they lose in the first round, Finch will get fired. I think a retool is very necessary. Not a rebuild. Yeah. I think a retool is very necessary because what you have right now is not going to work. And should I go as far as to say the only piece they could truly trade is Rudy Gobert? Am I insane for saying that? Am I crazy for saying that? The thing is, if you trade Rudy Gobert, you're going to lose that trade in both ways. You're going to lose all your defensive identity, and you're going to have to give a lot to get a lot for Rudy Gobert, because any team that takes him is going to be losing that trade. I don't think a team would want Julius Randle. It's tough. The team, we know what they need, right, chat? We know what they need. They need a point guard. And they need a point guard that isn't a liability on offense. So forget about John Morant. We all know that they're ass without Rudy. We all know that. But at this point, what sort of retool can you expect? I don't think they're going to move Julius Randle. Jaden McDaniels might be the odd guy out because Jaden McDaniels actually has value. Think about what you can get for Jaden McDaniels. You can get a point guard. It just matters like what point guard is on the market, you know? It's tough, man. It's tough. I feel like the Timberwolves are in a very, very weird spot. I have the Denver Nuggets winning in 6 games. I do. I think the Denver Nuggets' X factor is going to be Tim Hardaway Jr. He's been an X factor all year long, and I think he will continue to be an X factor. Yeah, Anthony Edwards just doesn't have the playmaking that other elite guards in the NBA have right now. He doesn't. If Anthony Edwards is not hitting a shot, then nobody's going to be hitting their shot. The team follows Anthony Edwards by example. Even Julius Randle does. So that's like, in my opinion, what separates players I love the most versus players that I don't really get the hype. I'm looking at Kobe Bryant. I'm looking at Anthony Edwards. I'm looking at guys who are predominant scorers but can't get anybody else involved. That's why I prefer a Tyrese Maxey, a Cade Cunningham, a Shai Gilgeous-Alexander. Guys who can get everybody their own buckets and then get their buckets next. If nobody else can score, I'll try to score. I like that mentality more. Yeah, LeBron. Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I think Ant is going to have an incredible series, but he's got to average 30 plus for them to have a chance. Genuinely. You can't just score for this team. You got to do more. You got to do more. All right, guys, let's move on to our third playoff series, and let's start moving with a little bit more pace. Actually, I want to talk about this comment. Two-handed Kicks just sent a very long message in my Twitch stream. Meteor, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. Welcome, bro. Two-handed Kicks said, you brought up Nuggets being a bottom 20 defense, but they also have the best offense ever when Jokic is on the floor. Like, yeah, they aren't the best defensively, but that's such a trash stat to bring up the Nuggets. Now Lakers, that 100% could be used. And I don't really use it. I don't use it for the Nuggets. I use it for the Lakers predominantly because the Lakers don't have a defensive identity whatsoever. The Nuggets can step up and hide away their defensive faults. The Lakers cannot. So I've never used that statistic against the Denver Nuggets ever. Quick, just wanted to point out that it was a fun fact that no bottom 10 defense in the NBA has ever won a playoff series, which I still think that's a very fun fact to show how dominant Nikola Jokic truly is. That stat really just does apply for the Los Angeles Lakers because they have no defense. With all their best players, they still have no defense. So their offense has to be incredibly elite and incredibly heliocentric rather than the Denver Nuggets don't have to be that whatsoever. They can play their game and know that their defense is covered up by their incredible offense. So I hope that answers your question. Deez, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. Sorry, thank you so much for the Prime Gaming sub on Twitch. I appreciate you, and I hope you enjoy your ad-free viewing experience, my boy. Thank you so much. And that's the thing. Yeah, nobody's going to blame the Timberwolves for losing this. We know. Nobody's going to blame them for losing this. Nobody. Nobody at all. This is a tough matchup. This is the worst matchup we could have gotten. Yeah, I got Denver Nuggets in 5 games. Let's move on to our next Western Conference Series, chat. This one's not going to take as long, and I hope you guys truly understand. The Houston Rockets versus the Los Angeles Lakers. The Rockets are 9-1 in their last 10. The Lakers are 7-3 in their last 10, which is sort of a skewed stat because they just lost Austin Reeves and Luka Doncic. The Rockets are favored by 5.5 points in the first game. They're favored by 5.5 points. Now, I mean, what can I talk about? The Lakers have a bottom 9 defense in the entire league. They have a bottom 9 defense in the entire league, and they're still without Marcus Smart. And without him, they're probably a bottom 5 defense. So they're together. Their defense is on the level of the Pelicans. No offense. The Nets, no offense. The Wizards, no offense. So if you have a Wizards level defense, and you are missing your best offensive threat and your second best offensive threat, what do you expect me to say? Genuinely, guys, I think the Rockets have had this break the most perfect way possible. They can't beat any other team ahead of them. If you don't believe me, you can just go look at it again. They cannot beat a team ahead of them. The Nuggets, Spurs, Thunder, they got it to where they're up against a team without their 2 best offensive threats. They lucked out. They lucked out. They can't lose to this Lakers team. They can't. Did they have... I'm going to give you my prediction for both examples, okay? First and foremost, we got to talk about the Rockets. We all know when their half-court offense is stale, it is arguably the worst in the entire NBA. Like, I would rather watch the Washington Wizards half-court offense over the Houston Rockets half-court offense at times. But when their half-court offense is elite, you know when that is? It's when Reed Shepherd's on the floor. When Reed Shepherd is on the floor, yes, their defense lacks a little bit, but their offense flows. Kevin Durant can play off ball. He can get off ball screens, get a smaller defender on him. Amen Thompson doesn't have to worry about only playmaking, and he can chill in the corner and in the dunker spot. Alperen Sengun can actually stay down in the post and play through Reed Shepherd. So, in my opinion, Ime Udoka, God, it's like so tough, man. I don't like him as a head coach. I don't think his rotations are good. I don't think his decision-making is good. His offense is horrible. His rotations are horrible. He's still I feel like he's just now learning how important Reed Shepherd is to this team. Not because he's Reed Shepherd, but because he's a competent guard that can shoot the 3 ball at a high clip, 40% from 3. So, I think the X factor for the Houston Rockets is going to be Reed Shepherd. Somebody's got to put the ball in the hoop. I think I'm going to go with Reed Shepherd. The Los Angeles Lakers, though, man, they don't have anybody. They don't have anything. Who am I going to pick as an X factor? Bronny? Who am I going to pick? Luke Kennard? If Luke Kennard is your X factor, I don't know what I can say. Because Luke Kennard, as we all know, he's not a good volume shooter. He's good at hitting 2 for you, but that's all. Luke Kennard's jump shot is so incredibly slow. And the reason why his high 3-point percentage, and this is what I told Lakers fans the second y'all got him, the reason why he has the highest 3-point percentage in the NBA is quite literally because he barely shoots 3s. It's only when he's wide open. I guess I can go Rui Hachimura as the X factor. I guess. I don't know. Jake LaRavia. I don't know, man. I don't know. Listen, this is a Wizards level defense, and you don't have any primary scorers. LeBron James is not a primary scorer anymore. I'm sorry. So if they, and I'd like to point this out, there is a possibility that Luka returns. There is a possibility that he returns. Austin Reeves, he's out. Magic fans can tell you right now, any Magic fans in the building, oblique, he's out. He's out. He's out. He's out. He's out. And I'm being told by the TikTok, by the way, how is he not a primary scorer? He just dropped 30. Yes, LeBron James did indeed just drop 30 points against the Dallas Mavericks. You are correct. And they lost. So yes, you are right. LeBron James can score 30 points and lose to a non-playoff team. You are absolutely correct. Now that I like talking real basketball, without Austin Reeves, without Luka Doncic, I still have Rockets in 5. Give me Rockets in 6. I'll say Rockets in 6 because their half-court offense is that bad. It's that bad. Honestly, I'm giving the Lakers 2 games, and I know that seems kind of stupid, the fact that I'm giving them 2 games, but I think LeBron can still get you a game. I think LeBron can still probably get you 2 games. I really do. And I think the role players can hit three. They can just get hot one night. I hope, because I want a good series. Give me Rockets in 6. And if Luka comes back, give me Rockets in 7. Because it's not going to be Luka. Rockets in 6. Rockets in 7 if Luka comes back. Because Austin Reeves is not coming back. Somebody in the TikTok said, yo, no way this guy thinks KD is beating the Lakers, bro. Dude, this isn't even the Lakers. This is like what's the G League team? What's the G League team? Bro, you're telling me you're going to roll out a starting lineup of Luke Kennard, Marcus Smart, Rui Hachimura, LeBron James, and DeAndre Ayton, and you expect me to say that team can beat a team with Amen Thompson, Kevin Durant, Jabari Smith Jr., Alperen Sengun? Are we serious right now? The South Bay Lakers, yes. Are we serious? This is why I don't read the TikTok, bro. Pretty boy, thank you so much for the follow on Twitch. I appreciate you very, very much. Shout out to you for leaving the TikTok and coming through to the Twitch stream. That guy in the TikTok is telling me I don't know ball for picking the Rockets over the Lakers. Well, chat, I'm sorry to break it to you guys, but I do not believe a 41-year-old LeBron James can beat the Houston Rockets. I'm sorry. I guess I just don't know ball, man. I just don't know ball. Pretty boy, you just made a great decision and came through to the Twitch stream. I appreciate you. Remember, guys, if you do want to talk real basketball with a real community and not brain dead idiots, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. The link is in my bio. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. I see people asking me about the Blazers series, about the Nuggets series. I already talked about them. And I upload all of my episodes on Spotify, Apple, and YouTube. So if you do want to tune in, be sure to tune in into the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. The link is in my bio, ladies and gentlemen. And remember, if you do come to the Twitch stream, guys, make sure you hear me. If you do come to the Twitch and you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will personally gift you a $5 subscription so you no longer get ads on Twitch. Okay? That should be your incentive to come through. No ads. Let's move on to our final Western Conference team. This one's going to be super quick because we still don't know who they're up against. But it's going to be the Oklahoma City Thunder against either the Warriors or Suns. Do I need to spend much time on this? We've already broke down the play-in game. We already broke it down yesterday. So if you guys missed yesterday's episode, be sure to go tune into that. We broke down the play-in games and my predictions for those games. I think whoever they're up against, it's Thunder in 5. Who would I rather see? I think I'd rather see the Golden State Warriors because I just love watching Steph Curry. Who do I think has a better chance? The Suns. I think the Suns have a better chance. I think the Suns can annoy the Thunder for like a game or two. I don't think the Warriors just can't keep up with them, man. In fact, I might have the Warriors. If the Warriors make it, I think it's a sweep. Yeah. You know what? Yeah, I changed my answer. If it's Thunder Warriors, Thunder win in 4 games. If it's Thunder Suns, Thunder win in 5 games. If you disagree with me, that's okay. The Warriors are the second oldest team in the NBA. They are the worst against athletic teams, young athletic teams, and the Thunder are a young athletic team. Caleb in the TikTok said Warriors taking them to at least 6. I disagree, but again, this is all opinionated. I think the Suns will get gentlemanly swept, not douchebag swept. I think Warriors will get swept. I think they will just get straight up 4-0'd. I'm sorry, guys, but if you tell me that the Warriors can beat this team, in one game, fine. If Curry and everybody just catches fire, fine. But Curry's going to have to be getting around Alex Caruso, Lou Dort, and Cason Wallace. Think about that for a second. Think about that. Curry's going to be sprinting all around the court. He's not fully healthy against Lou Dort, Alex Caruso, and Cason Wallace. And if they want to fuck around, they'll just put Shai Gilgeous-Alexander on him. So, with that being said, they have nobody to guard Shai. They have nobody. Chet, bro. Draymond's going to be on Chet. Okay, let's move on. I knew this would be quick. 4 against the Warriors, 5 against the Suns. I'm sorry, guys. I'm sorry. Curry's not 100%. He's not 100%. I'd say he's like 70, 75, 80. And they just suck against young athletic teams, just like the Lakers. They suck against young athletic teams, and there's nobody more young or more athletic than the Oklahoma City Thunder. Ladies and gentlemen, let's move on to our Eastern Conference playoff brackets. I know a lot of you guys have been waiting for it. I appreciate everybody watching over there on TikTok. Appreciate everybody watching on the Twitch so much more. Thank you guys for joining the Twitch stream. We already talked about Spurs. We already talked about all the series in the West. If you guys missed it, after 5 minutes after I end today's stream, we will be uploading this episode on our Jay-Z Courtside YouTube channel, on our Jay-Z Courtside Spotify channel, and on our Jay-Z Courtside Apple podcast channel. So be sure to leave 5-star ratings and reviews if you guys do listen to Spotify or Apple. Exclamation point podcast in the Twitch stream if you want the links to any of those profiles. Ladies and gentlemen, let's start with a 2-7 seed. I clicked the wrong button. My apologies. That is the Boston Celtics against the Philadelphia 76ers. I think Joel Embiid said it best. This ain't a rivalry when it's only one team winning, right? I think he said it best. Listen, I'm really excited to watch this series. I'm really excited. Would you guys believe me if I said that this was the largest spread from all of the playoff games? Would you guys believe me? The largest spread in the West is the Spurs by 10.5. The Celtics have a 11.5 favorite over the Philadelphia 76ers. 11.5. Yo, what are these bettors on, bro? Isn't that insane? I know they don't have Embiid, but isn't that kind of crazy? Who do you think? What do you think matters most when they say that line at 11.5? Do you think that's more credit to the Boston Celtics, or do you think that's more discredit for the Philadelphia 76ers? I think they're giving a lot of credit to the Boston Celtics. I think it's less disrespect against the 76ers and more respect for the Boston Celtics. That's my opinion. They don't have Joel Embiid, and that sort of throws any chance they had out of the window. Sixers fans, you guys know I've talked about the statistic. I've talked about the statistic a lot, okay? And I do sort of want to mention it again, all right? So I'm sorry if you guys watch me every day and you've heard me say this, but I have to say it again. Tyrese Maxey missed almost 3 weeks due to his wrist injury. Before that injury, he was leading the NBA in most minutes played. After missing those 3 weeks, you know who was leading minutes in the NBA? Sorry, his finger, not wrist. Tyrese Maxey was. So Tyrese Maxey, even after getting injured and missing weeks, he still led the NBA in most minutes played. In fact, I love saying the statistic because I know it gets a couple of chuckles in the crowd, but he has played the most minutes in an NBA season since Monte Ellis in 2011. What a pull. What a pull. I looked up that stat just to see, and I read that. I was like, Monte Ellis? What? Monte Ellis was just out there convincing, I think it was, who was the head coach of the Warriors? Was that Don Nelson? I don't remember the coach of that team. I don't think it was Don Nelson. Does anybody remember the coach for that Warriors team in 2000? Y'all let me know. Y'all let me know what I don't remember the coach. No, it wasn't Mark Jackson. That was too soon. Was it Don Nelson? Was I right? Bro, my ball knowledge is absolutely bonkers. I got to give hold on. Wow. I'm insane. That's crazy. Okay. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. This series is going to be a lot of fun. I think we can all agree upon that. My only fear is that Tyrese Maxey doesn't have the legs to make this a series. I think Paul George was incredible in the last stretch of the season after suspension. I think that was great for the team to get more confidence. My only issue is Nick Nurse has ran this guy into the ground. He has ran Tyrese Maxey into the ground. And I can't really fault him for that. Nobody else was really stepping up the way they needed him to. Having to have that guy on the very right of the screen that you guys are seeing right now, having to rely on him on whether or not he's playing every night sickens me. If you guys were to ask me, what do I want most this offseason? I could tell you I want the Pistons to get Devin Booker. I could tell you I want the Pistons to get Kawhi Leonard. I could tell you I want the Pistons. I want Cade to gain 20 pounds and get faster as well. I can tell you all of these things. Those are my number one things, but they're not. My number one request this summer. Guys, I mean it. Over everything I just mentioned. I want the Philadelphia 76ers to move on from Joel Embiid. That's my number one want. I love the Philadelphia 76ers. I love Tyrese Maxey. I love when Philadelphia is a good team. I'm so sick and tired of, is Embiid playing today? Is Embiid playing today? Is Embiid playing today? I'm not denying how good Embiid is. I don't want anybody to think that. When he plays, Philadelphia is incredible. But that's the biggest issue. When he plays, I can't do this anymore, man. I can't. They can't build a proper team around Tyrese Maxey and VJ Edgecombe. They can't do it. While that guy is on the roster, taking a roster spot, taking the starting spot, taking money from that franchise. I'm sorry. You guys can get upset with me. I feel for Joel Embiid. I genuinely do. If you guys read that memoir this summer, you would feel bad for Joel Embiid as well. Nobody wants to watch their superstar go through this. So Sixers fans, I understand why it hurts, but I can't continue playing this game of, is he playing tonight? I can't keep doing it. I hope you guys understand, but that's like my number one want this summer. I just want them to somehow get some injury exemption from him. It's tiring, man. It's tiring. I can't, it's okay. As far as the series goes, I think Tyrese Maxey is going to get put in hell. And I don't think it's crazy to say that. I think Derek White, hell, Hugo Gonzalez, shit, even Jordan Walsh. I think they're going to trap this guy and just force him to bring the ball up the court over and over again and just get tired and get gassed. And you're going to have to rely on playoff P to do something. I don't know, man. I don't know. They just don't have the weapons needed to relinquish Tyrese Maxey of his workload, man. They don't have enough. I see somebody in the Twitch say that Maxey is a horrible watch, and I fully disagree. I think Tyrese Maxey is a top 3 most enjoyable player to watch in the NBA right now. And to see him not have a consistent number 2 like a big or a backup point guard, it's unfortunate, man. It's really unfortunate. And, you know, 2 plays in particular from the last playing game against the Magic really stand out. And they were, I don't know if you guys saw, but Tyrese Maxey looked back at Nick Nurse. This will tell me if you really watched that game or not. He looked back at Nick Nurse. So Jalen Suggs also wanted to see what Tyrese Maxey was looking back at. And while Jalen Suggs, his stupid ass, while he looked back, when he looked back at Maxey, Maxey was already halfway down the court. He didn't get Suggs with that once. He got Jalen Suggs with that twice in one game, bro. He got him with that twice in one game. I don't know if that's more credit to Maxey or that's just to show that Suggs has rocks in his skull. All in all, when it comes to this matchup, I have the Celtics in 5 games. I don't know. The 76ers just don't have enough to target this team. They just don't have enough. I don't think Joel Embiid's, I don't know if he's going to play. I don't know. If I were to end today's podcast and it were to come out that Embiid has recovered from his appendicitis and he's good to go for the playoffs, I'm saying 6. Boston in 6. You know what, man? Yeah, I'd still say Boston in 6 because he's probably not going to come back until game 3. If I were to guess, if he is, I don't know. They just don't have enough, man. Tyrese Maxey just doesn't have enough help. I'll tell you the things I'm looking out for. Obviously, VJ Edgecombe is going to be the X factor, or Paul George, whichever one you want to take. I'm excited to see what VJ Edgecombe can do as a rookie in the playoffs. I'm very excited. He might be our only real rookie who's starting on a playoff team. Depends what happens tonight with Con Knips. I'm really excited. And I think this is going to be great experience for VJ Edgecombe. And I'd love to see VJ Max for years and years and years to come. All they need is a consistent center, and maybe Andre Drummond can straight up stretch the floor and hit another dagger like he did against the Magic. If they can just hold on until Embiid gets, I hate this shit, man. It's like Dragon Ball Z. It's like I'm talking about Dragon Ball Z. If the Z fighters, Tien, Krillin, Yamcha, Piccolo, Gohan, if they can survive until Goku gets there, then they have a chance. But like, do they really? I'm sick of playing this game with them, man. I hope you guys understand. I hope you guys understand. Because Joel Embiid ain't Goku, bro. He's not. He's not Goku. So I got Boston in 5 games. They're just too good. Boston's really too good. They don't have enough weapons. They got Tatum back. They got multiple bodies to just throw at Tyrese Maxey. Dude, I mean, Derek White to Hugo Gonzalez to Jordan Walsh. They just have so many weapons. I'd even mention Baylor, bro. Like, it's crazy. They just have so many weapons. They have so many weapons. I got Boston in 5 games. But I am really excited to watch VJ Edgecombe. Really excited. I'd like to give a couple shout outs real quick to some individuals who left the TikTok and came through to the Twitch stream. Farner, welcome to the Twitch stream. Dwayne, welcome to the Twitch stream. And Clones, welcome to the Twitch stream. I appreciate the 3 of you so very much. Guys, can we get the Discord link in our Twitch chat? Guys, be sure to join our Discord. We're going to be hosting some watch parties in there throughout the playoffs. Policy, of course, my baby. I thanked you 45 minutes ago. I appreciate you being here. Be sure to join the Discord as well. And remember, guys, if you come to the Twitch stream and watch 3 streams in a row, I will gift you a $5 subscription so you no longer get ads on Twitch. So the thing that you guys hate about Twitch, I will remove them for you if you just watch 3 Twitch streams in a row. Or maybe somebody likes you a lot and they gift you a sub. Let's move on to our next series in the East, guys. It's the 3-seed Knicks against the 6-seeded Hawks. Let me just take a quick second and take a sip out of my drink. This has been a long podcast, all right? I hope you guys don't think that this is an easy job to do, because other people on the podcast, they have time to take a break, take a breather, take a sip of their water because they have another guy talking. But for me, it's just me. Yeah, be sure to join the Discord, Bird. ! Discord in the chat. Their link is right there. Let's talk about the Atlanta Hawks and the New York Knicks, y'all. The Knicks are only favored by 5.5 points. For a reference point, the Rockets are also favored by 5.5 points against the Lakers. That is not a lot. That's not a lot. I thought this line was going to be like 7.5, 8.5, but they said 5.5. So what is it that Vegas knows that I don't? Did the Hawks suddenly sign Prime Al Horford? Did they get Paul Millsap back? Is Josh Smith back in the fold? They don't have a big center. They don't have a center. In my opinion, I think I just got to say this immediately. The Knicks' X factor is Karl-Anthony Towns. Who's the Hawks' X factor? Do I go ahead and say Dyson Daniels? Do I say Dyson Daniels? Because he's going to have the Jalen Brunson assignment. Do I say it's Dyson? I think I have to. Because if Dyson can try to stretch the floor at least a little bit. I know they signed Tony Bradley recently as well. They signed Tony Bradley very, very recently as well. I think, no, it's not NAW. You need NAW to show up. That's not an X factor. An X factor is a guy that typically doesn't show up, but you need them to show up. Nikhil, you guys need to learn what X factor means. I think it's Dyson Daniels low-key because he's going to have the assignment of Jalen Brunson. If he can just try, I know he only shot 18% from 3, but if he can just, God, who's my X factor for this team, bro? Is it CJ? Is it CJ McCollum? Maybe it's CJ. You know what? Yeah, I'm going to go CJ McCollum. He's my X factor for them because you need Jalen Johnson to get his 20. You need Nickeil Alexander-Walker to get his 30. I'm going to go CJ McCollum because I'll explain both X factors. CJ McCollum is a vet. CJ McCollum has done this before. CJ McCollum is also not nervous from the bright lights. CJ McCollum is going to be jacking up shot after shot after shot after shot after shot, and he's been great. He's been great this year. I thought he was going to be. He's been great. It was a great pickup for Trae Young, Corey Kispert as well. I think it was a great pickup, and I think CJ is really going to teach these guys a lot in the playoffs. I think he's going to be the reason why you're going to see this score like back and forth for the first 3 quarters. Now, for the Knicks, their X factor is much stronger. Can I explain? They have nobody for Karl-Anthony Towns. They have nobody. Bro, Karl-Anthony Towns against the Hawks, I mean, he kills them, dude. He kills them. He plays well every time. He gets an easy 20 and 12 every time he plays them. They don't have a center. Karl-Anthony Towns actually looks like the guy that they traded for against the Atlanta Hawks. And Knicks fans, I want you guys to hear me and hear me well, please. This is best case scenario for y'all. If you can get Cat eating, feasting, confident, feeling himself after all of that, going into the second rounds against Boston, you are going to need aggressive Cat. You are going to need Cat to be hungry. You are going to need Cat to feed his ego and feel like he is a dog. You're going to have to feel that. If he doesn't dominate, I'm scared for the New York Knicks because Brunson's going to have a hard time. I'm not saying nobody can guard I said Asar Thompson. Oh my God, my brain is just telling me who can guard Jalen Brunson. Nobody can guard Jalen Brunson. Nobody can. You can stop him. You can try to make it hard for him, but he's going to get his 28. And Karl-Anthony Towns is going to be the reason why this series ends in 5 games. If he's not, and I assure you, this series will go 6. If Karl-Anthony Towns isn't doing what Karl-Anthony Towns should do, this game's going to go to 6. I can't see the Knicks winning easily if Cat continues to be soft. And if you guys call Cat soft against the Hawks, you have not watched Knicks Hawks. You haven't, because Cat's been dominant. Cat has been dominant. Let me just look at Karl-Anthony Towns stats. Karl-Anthony Towns against Hawks. Let's just look at his stats this season against the Hawks. What? No, this is his career. How do I look at just this season, bro? Okay, I think we might just have to do some deep diving. So he just had 21 points, 12 rebounds, 6 assists, 2 steals, 1 block on 75% shooting, bro. He shot 75% from the field and had 21 and 12. That is nothing to scoff at, bro. That's insane. That's insane efficiency. The other game against them this season, he had 36 points, 15 rebounds, 1 assist, and he shot 53%. Both these games, he shot 50% from deep as well. Both of those games, he shot 50% from deep. So, yeah, Karl-Anthony Towns this season is averaging 28 points per game against the Atlanta Hawks. That's big. 28 points per game against the Hawks. If he can play like a second option, if he can play like the guy who they traded for, this is going to end in 6 games. It's going to end in 6. If he doesn't, then I have the Hawks really pushing them. And yeah, I think it'll go to 6. If Cat shows up, it'll be 5. If he doesn't, I think it'll go 6. I think it's going to be a fun series. I think the Hawks have proved a lot this year. And Hawks fans, I just want to say, if you guys do lose this series, like we're all predicting, this was a huge step. This was a huge step. Hawks fans, rejoice. I want you Hawks fans to, I know it's going to sting when you guys lose, but you guys got the Pelicans pick this summer. You guys got Jalen Johnson. You guys got Nickeil Alexander-Walker on a steal. You guys got a good ass team, man. You guys got a good ass team, and it's only going to get better. So if and when you guys do lose, just think about the Pistons last season. They just wanted to make it a competitive series, and they did against the Knicks. Just make it a competitive series. That's it. Just make it competitive, and we'll all be happy. And Hawks fans, I mean, it's only going to get better for y'all. Okay? Let's go ahead and move on to the Raptors and Cavaliers, possibly the most NBA TV series on this entire first round series. They don't do NBA TV anymore. But if they still did NBA TV games, this would be the one. This would be the one. The Cleveland Cavaliers are favored by 7.5 points in game 1. I'm going to go ahead and read this comment from my solo Raptors fan in the Twitch chat, Kai. TikTok, if you guys want to read all of these messages in the Twitch, be sure to come through to the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. Link in my bio. He said, Pirtle's the X factor in my opinion, especially in the playoffs. Our fast break offense won't matter. We need Pirtle to produce and back up Scottie on defense. You could also argue RJ since he does the little things that other players won't do. I disagree. In fact, Pirtle's going to get absolutely baptized this series. He's going to get absolutely demolished this series. I'm sorry. Pirtle's bad back. Pirtle's slow. Pirtle he's going to get absolutely put in the rim by Jared Allen and a little bit of Evan Mobley. The X factor for the Toronto Raptors, it's Emmanuel Quickley. If he can get you buckets, you're good. I swear on everything, it's Emmanuel Quickley. He's gonna have the defensive assignment. He's gonna be the one that they're switching on to Donovan Mitchell and James Harden. I don't see how the Raptors can win this series because of their lack of offense. And I think the front court of the Cavaliers is just too much. I feel like Brandon Ingram might have another collapse in the first round of the series. Scotty Barnes has not taken the leap offensively that we all wanted him to, but he has been elite defensively. I think Scotty is still a first-team all-defense for sure. Whether he's an all-NBA talent, I don't know this season. I'm not sure. The Cavaliers just have too many offensive threats. They have too many. The half-court offense is bad, and oh, God, I'm really afraid, bro. I'm really afraid for the Scotty discourse that's about to happen this summer. You guys understand that, right? You guys get that, right? The Scotty discourse is going to get insane. It's going to get bad. Raptors fans as well. They've already sort of turned on Scotty Barnes, saying that he's not a number one. Cade Cunningham is unfortunately put to blame on that. It was after the Pistons destroyed the Raptors again that they all just started saying, yeah, like he's not Cade, and they started comparing it to Cade, and I feel like that's so unfair. That's so unfair to Scotty. But I don't know. Does anybody here genuinely believe that the Raptors have a chance? I think the X factor is Emmanuel Quickley. I really do. Because I don't see Jakob Poeltl being able to hold the light against Jared Allen or Evan Mobley, man. I just don't see it. I think their offensive firepower is going to be too much. We all know Donovan Mitchell's a playoff riser. We'll see how James Harden can do. Evan Mobley, we'll see what he can do. I don't know, man. He's going to get you that 18 and 8 that he always gets you. Jared Allen's going to be thriving next to James Harden like he has. Oh, man, I'm looking up and down this roster on the Cavs, and I'm just getting terrified for the second round. I think they might be able to win 2 games, and that's if they're Here's what I'll say about the Toronto Raptors, okay? And this is actually going to be very positive, all right? When their defense locks in, they're unbelievable. They are unbelievable. When they force you to turn the ball over or they force you to take long threes, they look unbeatable. And this, like, I should use the Toronto Raptors as a testament onto whether people watch basketball or not. Because I don't think there's a more dominant looking team when the Toronto Raptors defense is in check and you guys can argue with a wall. I'm talking Thunder. I'm talking Pistons. I'm talking all of the elite defense teams in the NBA. When the Toronto Raptors defense is in check and they are trying, they are one of the scariest teams in the NBA. The unfortunate part is that only happened a handful of times this year where they looked absolutely dominant, where you could see yourself, damn, they could win a playoff series or two. I think the Cavaliers just have too much shooting. I think the Cavaliers have too much spacing. And they just don't have enough ball movement for the Toronto Raptors. Their half-court offense is abysmal at times. And when it's bad, guys. It's bad. I somehow forget the fact that the Orlando Magic allowed the longest run in NBA history against the Toronto Raptors. How did the Toronto Raptors score 33 points unanswered against the Orlando Magic? How? Bro, the Raptors don't score. They haven't scored 33 points in multiple halves this season. Yet they allowed them to go on a 33-0 run in a quarter? I don't know, bro. I think their defense is elite. And if they can force the turnovers, I think they can make it. I think they can go. I think they can take a couple games off of the Cavaliers. I do. Well, I think they can take a couple games. Their defense can carry them that much. They just need their offense to be average, right? Dwayne, right? You agree with me? I think they just need their offense to be average and their defense to be how it has been. You know, this series is going to be fun. Honestly, I'm going to be watching the hell out of this series. Contrary to belief, I know a lot of people probably won't be, but I'm going to be watching this series. I'm excited to see how Scotty can do. I'm excited for Toronto basketball, man. One thing I'll say about Toronto is their fans are great. Their fans are great, and they're going to be there. They're going to show up. I I just think the Cavaliers have too many offensive weapons. And that's my issue. I think their X factor is probably going to be Evan Mobley. If you can get Evan Mobley going, the Raptors don't stand a chance. Like, you already know what James Harden and Donovan Mitchell are going to do. You know Jared Allen's going to feast off of James Harden's assists. You already know Keelan Ellis and Max Strus and everybody. They're going to do what they do. Dennis Schroeder off the bench. I think Evan Mobley is going to be the deciding factor on how close this series is truly going to be. Evan Mobley, are you going to step up? Are you going to be that guy that we all thought you were going to be, or you're just gonna hang out? He's gonna hang out by the 3-point line. You know, I think it's gonna be a fun series. Now for the final one, this is obviously going to be the fastest one in the East, just like how the West was. We have the Detroit Pistons up against the Charlotte Hornets or the Orlando Magic. The Pistons tied the season series with the Orlando Magic this season. Two of which the games the Pistons sat their entire starting lineups. That has to be noted against the Orlando Magic. They were missing their starting lineup in 2 of the games, and they split the season series against the Orlando Magic. And then the Charlotte Hornets, they were swept 3-0 against the Detroit Pistons with an average win margin of 16 points against them. They are 8th in points, 8th in rebounding, 11th in assists, 1st in steals, 1st in blocks, 5th in field goals made, 3rd in field goal percentage, but they are 28th in 3-pointers made, but 17th in 3-point percentage. If it's the Magic, Pistons win in... If it's the Magic or Hornets, the Pistons win in 5. The Pistons are just too good defensively. The Pistons are, funny enough, they are a top 3-point shooting team in the last quarter of the NBA season. They have been shooting 40% from deep in the last 20 games of the NBA season, which people have not been paying attention to. Kevin Huerter got unlocked. Javonte Green started hitting the shots. Hell, even Karis LeVert started making some threes. It wasn't until Cade Cunningham went down that I was really iffy about this team. And seeing Jalen Duren step up, having Isaiah Stewart healthy going into the playoffs, this team's going to be scary. They're going to be very, very scary. Yeah, the Hornets and Magic just don't match up well against the Pistons. And if anybody says the Hornets can upset the Pistons, I'll just have you argue with a wall. The Pistons have dominated them in all 3 of the matchups. They don't have the experience. They just don't. And, you know, for anybody calling that 3-point percentage a Mickey Mouse March stat, you just made that up, KG, because that's not a Mickey Mouse March stat. They were missing their superstar during that stretch. So in what way against contenders could that be referred to as a Mickey Mouse stat? Because I believe if I look through March, the Pistons versed nothing but contenders, are a lot of contenders, like actual good teams. Magic, Cavs, Spurs, Heat, 76ers, Toronto, Golden State, Los Angeles Lakers, Atlanta Hawks, Minnesota Timberwolves, Oklahoma City Thunder, the Toronto Raptors, the Minnesota Timberwolves, the Philadelphia 76ers, the Orlando Magic, the Charlotte Hornets. The majority of those teams are playoff teams, and they still managed to shoot 40% from deep without their superstar player. So I think, I don't really care. My preference is Charlotte. I would rather verse the Charlotte Hornets because at least then I'll have the option to go to the games so I can drive there. But the tickets are expensive, so I also don't know. I think the Magic will probably match up better than the Hornets. I know that might sound funny to say, but the Magic they match up better just because they're not a good 3-point shooting team either. Luckily, the Hornets just rely on the 3-point shot, and the Pistons will give that up every day of the week if they're taking 53s a night, 63s a night lately. But yeah, Pistons will win in 5 against whichever team, whether it's the Magic or Hornets. I could see them losing the opening night of the playoffs because they've been off for a week. But honestly, the Pistons are a really, really, really good team at bouncing back this year. They only lost 2 games straight twice in the entire season. Like, they lost back-to-back games twice. And I think that's great. I think that's a great testament to this team. And people tell me that you need to be able to shoot threes at a prolific clip to win a championship. That's just, we'll see. We'll see. I'm not a believer in the Pistons to win it all this year. I'm not. A good season for me would be a second round. Like, at worst, I'd like a second round exit in game 7. I think that's a successful season in my book. Losing in a second round series in game 7 would be a good step up. And I think realistically, it'll be that or the conference finals. I had them losing to Boston in the conference finals, but if they verse the Knicks, they won't lose. It'll be fun, man. It'll be fun. I'm really excited to watch Pistons basketball. And overall, I just got to remember, it was a great season, and hopefully they can continue building off of this in the playoffs, man. Hopefully. I'm just going to also block out the noise as well. People telling me they're going to get upset by the Hornets. That's just not true. I know my basketball team. People telling me they're going to get swept by the Cavs. Again, that's not true. Losing to the Cavs is a very real possibility, but no, getting swept down, that's not going to happen. Overall, I'm very happy. I think my mental health has gotten a lot better this season as well. I've been handling losses way better than I did at the start of the season. I'm just happy, man. I'm just happy. The best season the Pistons had since 2008 when I was 10 years old. I guess 2007. I'm just ecstatic. I'm very happy. I got the Pistons beating the Magic or Hornets in 5 games. I'm very, very happy. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't have a stud of the night. We don't, because there was no game last night. That's going to do it for this week's episodes, guys. That's going to do it for this week's episodes. So for those of you in the TikTok that enjoy these episodes, be sure to drop a follow. We do this Monday through Friday at 9 a.m. Eastern. And if you guys want more stream, be sure to swing on into the Twitch stream. That's Jay-Z Uncut on Twitch. I would appreciate everybody tuning into the Twitch stream. Remember, if you watch 3 Twitch streams in a row, I will personally gift you a $5 subscription so you no longer get ads on Twitch. I'd love for you guys to come through. Join the Discord as well. I'd love to see you guys come through to the Twitch. Holy Jay, thank you for the follow on Twitch. Much love, brother. Guys, that's gonna do it for this week's episodes. And honestly, I like for real, amazing episodes this week. I've had so much fun. You guys have been showing up and showing out. I appreciate you all so very much. The playoffs are beginning tomorrow. So if you're not in the Discord server, what the fuck are you doing? What are you doing if you're not in the Discord server? What are you doing? We're going to be doing watch parties. We're going to be hanging out in there. We're going to be talking throughout all these games. Now's the time to join the Discord. If you're not in there, you're selling. All right. Podcast listeners, be sure to leave a 5-star rating and review. Yeah. That's all I got for y'all this week. Twitch chat, be sure to stick around for just one moment. Ladies and gentlemen, I got nothing left to say except for thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. And as always, guys, thank you for watching / listening. I'll see you Monday morning at 8:30 a.m. Eastern for the stream, 9 a.m. Eastern for the podcast. Playoff basketball is back, baby. Let's rejoice. Let's all get excited. Oh, man. This season flew by, and yet we're here. We're here.